Beautiful. Beautiful. I did that. I did that.
answer to world hunger?
Don't laugh, it may be.
At 6 this morning, a full alert went into effect here at the power plant. All indications were that a nuclear accident had taken place. However, company officials assure us that it was a false alarm.
My God.
I think we have to get out of here. Dr. McNeil, could this be a result of your research?
Maybe.
John? Is that you? Oh, God, no!
Yes, in the very near future, you're going to see Island Claws and Spasms on the Drive-In Asylum double feature. But next week's movie was not in the trailer reel that you just witnessed, probably because we hadn't decided on it yet. I can tell you, next Saturday night, 11 p.m., it's going to be a Drive-In Asylum late movie, Mill of the Stone Women.
Oh, I just watched that.
Oh.
That was just my Uncle Spooky movie.
I know, I saw that. Like I was like, he's gonna think that we did it because
No, I never think that.
We
But
were talking
it was
about
it was really fun.
Yeah,
I love
you
Bill
dig
the
it?
Stone Woman. It's very like Hammerish. It's Italy's first Italian horror, a color Italian film.
So that's gonna be next week.
Wait, it's in color?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then I'll watch it.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you don't like black and white movies?
No,
I
I'm just
do,
saying.
but I don't like, they don't get me as much as I've always said that if the Andy Milligan movie Seeds was in color the way the Ghastly ones was, it would be my favorite movie. But yeah, black and white.
Black and white. You know, I'm dying. I keep wanting to play these Barbara Steele movies, but the DVDs I have are so crappy. I got these like the. It's just like watching like a bed, like your old black and white little TV under the blanket. Almost, it's like the same quality. They don't make them nice, huh? The long hair.
They do. Some of them are out.
Are they? I'm looking for, these are like compilations. Long hair of death. Terror creatures from the grave. Great titles. But
Well, Terror Creatures from the Grave.
Which is like one of those movies she kept making over and over again.
She was so good in them.
Yeah.
So if it ain't broke,
Descendant of Black Sunday.
if it ain't broke, what is that? I like that she got to play like a good girl, bad girl, and the good girl was always blonde.
Yeah. Because she was a natural blonde, right?
She wasn't either. I met her once at one of those horror conventions.
Did you?
I did, and she was like, she was just at this like side table, like in this room, and I was like, why aren't you on like a dais or something? And she had like a twisted ankle, and they kept her there for like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this was like Sunday, and she's like, never again. Never all 3 days again. She was like, I'm dying. And she got up and she was walking away, and her band had started to come undone. And so it looked like she had toilet paper stuck on the bottom of her shoe. And I was like, no. Let me fix this, Barbara.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let you go.
Thanks for looking out for her.
Oh my God. I love me some Barbara Steele.
Yeah.
Did you ask her about Silent Scream?
I love Silent Scream. I don't know what I asked her about. I bought a picture and she signed it. And then I had to like doctor it up and say instead of the other name, Spooky, which is kind of fun. So it looks like
I bet she'd be pissed because she doesn't like to talk about Silent Scream. She probably wouldn't say anything about it.
Silent Scream was like she was so good in that with the
Not a single line of dialogue.
She didn't need it.
No. I think that's what I think is so good about it. That's why I love it. It's a very unique role for someone of her stature to play. You know, maybe she didn't see it that way. I don't know.
Yeah, she must have been fucking Yvonne DiCarlo's getting all my lines.
Oh, I thought you said she was fucking Yvonne DiCarlo. I was like, that would make a great movie.
I don't know if any of these people are in the New York area, but I got a Uncle Spooky Spookorama tomorrow at the Flying Fox Tavern, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
What movie?
My Bloody Valentine. Trying to
That's
get
right.
in
You
there
posted
early.
it with that Chet Baker, and it was the paradox was.
I'm trying to find. I really want to. This place that I showed it though. They kind of like they insist on streaming their movies. They don't want to show like because I got a DVD and I got the DVD with the uncut scenes in it. But
Yeah,
I can't find the streaming version with the uncut scenes. And I'm like,
Can you
and what's
can you rip the DVD and then just like upload the that to some kind of web-based hosting thing, and then they can stream it from that? Or what about putting it on like a thumb drive or something? Like they might play it off of that, right?
I'm writing both those things down right now.
Oh,
Rip
that's right. You
DVD
don't,
and thumb
you
drive.
don't like technology. Okay, yeah.
Well, you got.
We are kind of telling you how to get around, like actually paying for that version. So I don't know if you want to get caught doing it.
I'll do it. No problem. No qualms. And I got a friend that might be able to, if I can call him in early enough. Because it's like once you see the unedited scenes, you kind of like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
watch
with the broad and the
God.
dryer and the
Oh my
chick
God.
hanging on the shower. Yeah,
The
nice.
broad.
somebody
the
should have been
chick.
hung for cutting those
Right.
scenes.
That crazy broad in the dryer.
Chick.
Oh yeah. And then the
Yeah,
chick
that was
hanging on
that hurt.
on the shower thing. Oh my god.
Mabel.
The shower. That was the one I was waiting for because I saw it in Fangoria and I never saw it when I watched it on HBO. I was pissed.
You know, it's funny. You know, you should say that because the movie you're playing, Spasms, that was a Fangoria
Yeah.
movie for me. That was
Yes.
covered in there somewhere, and I never saw it or heard anything about it after.
And
There's a reason
that's
for
Oliver
that.
Reed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Oof.
It's it looks great now. There's a nice fixed up version that's on Blu-ray, and it's the movie is no great shakes, but it's a lot better than some people say it is. And I don't know. I have to admit, I was one of the people that wrote it off for many, many years. But then I saw the cleaned up version. I forget what company put it out. It's a couple years ago, but man, there really is something special about that movie because it's one of the best giant killer snakes movie I've ever seen.
It was a giant kill. I didn't even get that. There was a giant killer snake.
Well, I didn't show much of it in the trailer, but I didn't want to reveal the monster. But yeah, it's a giant killer snake, and you don't see a whole lot of it, but
it's
to
enough.
me, yeah, it's just enough. And the less you see of it, the better, because animatronic snakes never look real.
No, they look like those tarantulas in the Beyond. Like
Yeah,
like real tarantulas have like such intricate body movements, and the ones in the Beyond are like grr, grr, grr.
Hiding the eyeballs.
I am a tarantula.
Yeah, but they mix them with real ones, so it like looks even more ludicrous that they have these real tarantulas walking around with these like Halloween toys, like kind of.
I was watching just the hair of Kingdom of the Spiders yesterday, and they were just in the middle of it, and there was like I guess a scene with a cow dead and a bunch of spiders on it.
Yeah,
And, the girl picks up this, it's supposed to be all live spiders. Picks up this obviously dead spider, and she's like,
Tiffany Bowling. Stunning Tiffany Bowling.
Huh?
Tiffany
Bowling.
Yeah,
Where's she
her.
from?
What else was she in? She was in the Candy Snatchers.
Ooh, that's a great song.
And Tiffany. Wicked. She was the. Do you remember that split screen movie about the guy who's like it's kind of like The Fan, except he's stalking like this country singer at like a hotel in San Diego.
Oh my God, sounds
and
amazing.
it's all split screen, and they always have the same. Anyway, so that was her claim to fame, I guess. And then she was also Tiffany Bowling. Didn't she have like a country hit or something? Yeah.
Don't get her confused with Susan Anton.
Who's Susan Anton? Again?
Susan Anton?
She was in Cliffhangers.
Yeah, cliffhangers is how I know Susan Anton, but there's something more popular that Susan Anton was known for, and then she had a country hit
What
like
was a
in
country hit?
1980. Killing Time.
Killing
It was a
Time.
duet with somebody else.
Oh yeah. So wait,
Will
who is she
cry.
again? What movie was she in? Was she in the folks at Red Wolf Inn or?
No, she was not. She was
Golden
a lot
Girl.
younger than.
Okay.
I don't know. I think she never really broke big, Susan Anton.
She made an imprint though on that time. I mean, for like maybe 3 years, she was kind of she was something.
She wasn't quite Linda Carter, but
No,
she didn't get
Oh,
Linda
okay.
Carter's big breaks.
she was kind of like right, like a kind of under like a Farrah Fawcett, but she just didn't. She might still be alive, right? She must be. I haven't heard.
I think she is.
I haven't heard of her.
Golden Girl, Vince and Chris. That's what Susan Anton was known as. There was a TV show, right, guys?
Was
a
it?
TV show called
Or was that a
Golden Girl.
movie? I think it was a movie.
Maybe a TV movie.
Maybe a TV movie.
So a lot of people that I've talked to in adulthood have thought that The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane was a TV movie. I think because it played so much on TV, and because it is so, I mean, it's very well directed. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't have any like grand cinematic flourishes or anything. And so you kind of look at it and you're like, yeah, I guess it could be a TV movie. I mean, it's all on a set or a house.
It feels very TV movie.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that, but it's like there's nothing that'll like separate it from a TV movie. Like you can't tell people who say it's a TV movie like, oh no, remember that skydiving sequence or whatever. It's just like it's very staid.
Except
It's low budget.
I don't know a TV movie that went like so deep with like the kind of like the creepy, sexy stuff.
Oh no, exactly. Like it's so much better than that. But I think because so many people watched it on TV as a kid, they kind of think it's a TV movie.
I totally did, actually.
Yeah.
Like when we first.
Well, because they did watch it on TV, but on HBO.
I wasn't a fancy kid with HBO.
When I was growing up, like I said, I caught that screening that you were showing in 1980. It was what is the NBC Monday 8:00 movie or whatever. ABC. And then after that, it was always on UHF. It was always on our local UHF channels. But it was always at 11 p.m., 12. It was always like after prime time for whatever reason. Maybe because it was cheap and they could just put it on at night and
mature subject matter. That's the reason.
Right. But it was like it was PG.
He's so creepy with his hairy wrists.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is up with that? So like I didn't notice it. So he had just had a hairy
Yeah, like it was kind of hairy. He had like the first scene. I kind of like see some hair coming out of that. It looked like a lot.
And it actually kind of makes sense. Like I don't think that they could control how hairy his wrists were, but like when he is touching her and reaching after her, the fact that he is so hairy just drives the point home that he's obviously an adult. And she's so, I mean, she might be precocious or whatever, but she's not sexually precocious and she wants to be left alone. So every minute that he's like reaching at her, like, ooh, what's this key around your neck? Oh, look at this. Oh, can I have this birthday cake? Like, that's gross, especially since he's so hairy.
And he was gunning for the magician part. Like, that's what he was like originally trying to get. And they're like, nah.
No, you're not. It's not Badlands anymore, sweetheart. Like,
that's not how we see you.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't.
It was very uncomfortable, like especially when he reached inside her.
Oh my god!
I know. It's just like he doesn't even like do it subtly. He just like dives in there and he's like, "What's this key around your pretty?"
And he could have found the key a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the little.
Well, what's funny is that apparently it runs in the family because he's all up on her grill, and then the mom, Mrs. Hallett, comes over and she's just like, "Where's your father? Is he in the village? Oh, I was having a gathering at my place, and I thought maybe he could."
Oh, you're right.
Or
She
maybe,
walks right into the house.
or like the
she lives
lease.
there.
She's like, leases have been known to be broken unless your father and I can come to some understanding. It's like, oh, you're gonna tell the dad if he doesn't fuck you that you're gonna kick him out of the house. Like, what is like the whole family? Like her and her son were both predators. It's kind of interesting like that.
I love that slap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That had to hurt. I think Jodie Foster told her to hit her hard. But she did. She was like, "Go ahead, it's okay."
Yeah, because she was an actor and she was very professional. And she's like, "Yeah, slap me." And Alexis Smith is like, "Really? Can I?" Okay.
You get away with that now. But it was like very like it wasn't like she didn't say anything really terrible, right? She just kind of alluded to something that was enough for like kind of like.
Well, she was teasing the mom about the fact that her son was a child molester, and it's clear that the mom knows that, but she's just like trying to, what? Who? No, I
keep a
don't
lid
know
on it.
about that.
Don't let him in if he happens to come by.
Right.
She's asking her all about it. She's like, "Was my son here? What did he say to you?" And then when Jodie Foster flips the tables on it, she's like, "Why? Why talk about something that doesn't even matter?"
Yeah.
Like, you brought it up.
Yeah, I know. I hope you didn't intend that to sound so rude, and it's like,
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I would have poisoned the fucking tea as soon as he walked in with the muddy shoes.
Oh,
that would have been it for me. I would have waited any longer.
That's rude.
I've often wondered if being the little girl who lives down the lane wouldn't lead to like some kind of entitlement syndrome, because once I had killed a couple of people, like once I'd gotten rid of Mrs. Hallett, I'd be like, I don't like you. You suck. I don't like you. Made too much noise when you delivered the mail.
Really good at
what's
this.
to stop her from just killing everybody from now on?
I was thinking Mary was on borrowed time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that was the interesting thing about the novel was she wasn't so innocent in the novel, because we were talking. I forget if we were live when we were saying this, but it's like they don't want to show Jodie Foster killing anyone for real in a movie because it's an accident when Mrs. Hallett gets it. And she says she didn't know that there was poison in that powder she put in her mother's tea. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the novel, it's totally not like that. She knows she's killing her mother. She knows she's, killing the Hallett guy. So, she knew.
Everyone in the novel is so much more like sociopathic, though, because like Mr. Hallett also knows that she killed his mother. Like he doesn't come over like, I have to investigate. He's like, he already knows, and he's already planning like, okay, I'm going to blackmail her into being in a sexual relationship with me because I can say that I know that my mom went into that house and didn't come out. And like, I don't particularly love my mother, but like the idea that your mother going into a house and dying is second only to your glee at being able to blackmail the killer into having sex with you. Like, who does that?
Yeah, like he just didn't care. That's an ungrateful child.
Yes. I mean, I don't like my mom, but like, I'm not gonna like be like, oh, you killed my mom. Well, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing Saturday night? Like.
She's mean.
Yeah,
she's really mean.
Kind of fucked over the father. Kind of set the daughter up like that too. Like, yeah, just give her this when she comes over.
Oh
She's
yeah.
gonna be fine.
Oh yeah, and here's 3. And so she's 13, and he gives her 3 years of traveler's checks to pay for shit.
I'm gonna cut it.
Well, so then she immediately has to start getting a job at 16 to pay the rent. Like, give her 2 more years of traveler's checks. Like what? like. He's like, oh, I want to give you everything that I never had. Oh, and by the way, the minute you're legally able to work, like that's when the money runs out. Like, get a job at the multiplex to pay the property tax on this thing.
Like, I hope she's getting something from those poems.
Oh yeah.
She could be getting royalties. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, I think he's supposed to be kind of wealthy. Like the town that they live in is kind of Rosh Hashanah. So
Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, Francine, it's so Rosh Hashanah.
It's Rosh Hashanah. Like it's definitely like it's kind of highfalutin. Like the idea that there's an Italian family that runs a gas station is like, scandalizes Mrs. Hallett. So
gotta be the cop. He works for me. He works for people like me.
Officer Migliority works for me.
Was he ever in anything?
God.
Ever again? that guy?
Mort Schumann. Yeah, well, he's actually a music guy. He's like some kind of music conductor or music supervisor or something. And the idea that he was going to be an actor is just kind of random because they kind of just put him in this movie. And I think he's been in other stuff, but like, no, he was just kind of I always got him and Isaac Mizrahi mixed up for some reason.
You think they look alike?
They both are like, he's actually not Italian. He's Jewish, Mort Schumann. And so I just figured that like they were kind of, I don't know, roughly the same person.
Mort Schumann wrote a whole bunch of songs. Like he and his songwriting partner wrote a bunch of things like This Magic Moment.
Yeah.
That was Mort Schumann.
Yeah. And then it's just so random that like this director is like, it's some French dude in Canada. And he's like, I want you to play the policeman in my movie.
You, Officer Miguel.
You look like an Italian American person.
Bring
Like,
him to
okay.
Mort Schumann also did translations of Jacques Brel songs into English. And there was a hit. I only know this because I love Soft Cell and Mark Almond. And on one of his albums, he covered the Jacques Brel song Jackie. And Mort Schumann, did I say it right? Mort Schumann actually did the English translation for a lot of those songs, including Jackie. And it was a hit for a pop star named Scott Walker. And that was in the late 60s. And me?
Perform it now.
I get paid to do my Brel, Uncle Spooky.
Yeah, so he was also, I saw in the credits, so he's the music supervisor for this movie. So I think he found all those like Chopin, like classical pieces that they used in the movie or whatever, or at least like kind of, got them. And then I don't know how he ended up being an actor in this movie. I thought he was rather good. I mean, there was he didn't blow me away, but it wasn't like when I saw him on screen as a kid and stuff, I never thought like, oh, this is somebody who's just randomly in a movie. I was like, oh, he's an actor. Sure. I'm sure he's in other stuff, and I never did see him in anything else, but
the Jewish angle is interesting. They kind of you never see that too much.
Oh, that she's supposed to be Jewish?
Right. I mean, and that's like when she's when the lady's outside the door, she hears them talking like Yiddish inside. She's like, going on, like opens the door.
Oh,
like,
and she's also like kind of condescending about it. Like she's like, not a glass of that thick, sweet wine you people use in your religious rituals,
in your blood rituals.
Oh, and then she did that thing because there's people who say that Ashkenazi Jews are like in the top 2% of the smartest people, and she goes, yeah, and brilliant, as so many of your people are.
God.
Yeah, it was
Hallett a German name?
Yeah, I mean, I think that she was just extremely waspy, and the town was supposed to be very waspy. Like it wasn't, it was just that you were supposed to be a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, and if you're an Italian, then you're out, and if you're a Jew, then you're out, but not out as far as Mrs. Hallett is concerned, because she'll still fuck you if you're a Jewish poet, and her son will still want to fuck you if you're a 12-year-old Jewish girl. I don't know.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Super creep.
Yeah.
She got to look at like if he would have come down the stairs, like would she still want to fuck him when she saw Mario doing the shtick? Like, oh,
I don't know. I thought their relationship was actually, it was the best thing about the movie was that little thing she had going with Scott Jacoby, or is it Jacoby?
Probably either or. Jacoby.
It's very Gordon. What's the guy from Jaws 2? And
oh yeah, the guy
Gordon.
who directed the one from Christine, who directed like those movies later with like Jennifer Connelly and yeah, like hot nerd. I mean, not hot, like he wasn't sexy hot, but you know what I mean, like cute, relatable nerd. And doable if you're a 12-year-old girl who's
what was
also
that Brian De Palma movie he was in? Dressed to Kill.
Yeah.
Dressed to Kill. Keith Gordon was in Dressed to Kill. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
And he's like, what was he showing? Angie Dickinson his science project, and he's like, or something, and And she's like, "Oh, it transmits and receives. Will you please go to sleep?"
Poor Kate. All she wanted was to pick up the turkey.
Oh my
Oh.
god. What did she pick up? Herpes.
Mhm.
Ah,
And then she picked up a razor on her face.
Over and over and over again.
Bobby hated the shit out of her.
So Steve Wilson said
Oh, I
Scott
hate
Jacoby
that.
is the target Matthew Modine. Well,
I'll buy that.
I guess. So yeah, no, I love the little girl who lives down the lane. I think it's a really comforting movie to watch. I know it's completely, there's so much subject matter that's so uncomfortable, like with him, and killing the gerbil and like touching and feeling on her, and his mom bursting in and emotionally abusing her like that and everything. But I love that house. I'm crazy about her house. I love the living room and the dining room and the front part and the kitchen, and then you walk upstairs and there's this like cozy little bedrooms. Like I'd live there.
I feel like you would take that house even with Mrs. Halibut in the cellar. Like you'd be like, I can work with that.
If somebody said
Put stuff on it.
if somebody said, hey, this house is, and they offered it to me at a good price, and then there was like a body in the cellar, I would call the cops and be like, hey, I just want to let you know there's a body in the cellar, so I'm not the one who killed them.
Right.
But if you guys don't feel like doing anything, I'll live here because the mortgage is only $1,200 a month.
I'd want that damn thing out of the cellar, though. I gotta admit.
If it was pickled or something, like she said she put stuff on them so it wouldn't smell, and it was like a mummy.
And what is that stuff?
Lime.
Yeah, it's like salt, like and some kind of sodium, something that like sucks the, like how they used to do with like pork. Is it a Jewish thing?
I don't think it was a Jewish thing.
Well, no, it was. I mean, if you're Jewish, then you know how to pickle a dead body.
The trick.
You just put like a bunch of salt on it. Well, you have to know. I mean, they tell you that at your bar mitzvah.
Do they?
Salt.
Yeah.
Salt and
although for Jody, they would have to say it her bat mitzvah.
Did you have one? Did you have a bar mitzvah?
No, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm like George Santos. Like I'm Jewish. I'm not Jewish. Like I was actually Orthodox, and my family was Jewish before that, and so that's where my interest in Judaism comes along. I'm kind of like a Judeophile, but I'm not a practicing Jew at all. If that makes sense.
So Orthodox, like you still got them in your family or no?
Oh, yeah. No, not Jewish Orthodox, like Russian Orthodox. It's like Christian. It's like Greek Orthodox. It's like being Catholic, but you don't believe in the Pope.
I always felt like Orthodox was like extra.
Oh yeah, no, it's the same thing. It's like a Christian version of like being like it's like a Jew for Jesus.
Can you like when the Christian version? Can you tell like, oh, that's an Orthodox Christian? Like, is there a giveaway?
No, I mean just like in church, the way that the church is set up and stuff. But I wouldn't be able to like, I mean, maybe in like I can look at an Eastern European and say like, okay, they're not, the same as like a Catholic living in Munich or something, like, I mean, I know that difference, but I wouldn't be able to in America look at somebody and be like, oh, you're Orthodox because you have that bracelet around your left hand or something.
The bracelet. Left-handed bracelet.
The left-handed bracelet that lets you know. You know what was really awesome in the Orthodox Church is that we got to drink wine, not grape juice, not some bullshit like that they do in the Catholic Church. They would actually every Sunday give me a little like glass this full of wine and a giant hunk of bread, and I was supposed to drink the wine and eat the bread at the same time. And I didn't understand what being drunk was, but I knew that every Sunday I got really happy and loved to run as fast as I could.
Oh, that's amazing. Like an early age.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's why like I love my jar of wine now, and I think it's because of growing up in the church, because it's just amazing. Like Well, it's Saturday night. It's gonna be
Is that how much you drank back then?
this in proportion. I mean, I'm 230 pounds now, and I think at the time I was like, what, 45 pounds. So I think like that little bit I was drinking of the wine. Yeah, I think I'm. It's in proportion.
Worth that.
Yeah. So did
Jodie
you guys?
Foster drank.
Did Spooky? Did you talk about when you first saw the little girl who lives down the lane?
I feel like I saw it on, and then listen to everybody else that it was like a late night thing. I totally feel like it was like we used to have this thing in New York called the 4:30 movie, and it was after General Hospital, Edge of Night would end at like 4:30, and then before the news at 6, they would have a movie between 4:30 and 6, and every week it was like a themed movie, a themed week. Like there was Godzilla week, there'd be like romance week. They always had like a crazy theme, not a crazy theme, but and they would like each one. They'd had a Planet of the Apes week. It sounds so amazing now, and they had a creepy kid week, which I'm sure they showed The Other.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh wow!
what do you call it? And I feel like I'm sure like Jodie Foster that movie was on there, and like
Yeah.
maybe. And they would edit it down to fit that little hour and a half. So like, maybe the Bad Seed, which is like 4 hours long, somehow they fit it into that hour and a half.
The Bad
And there was
Seed.
another one too. What was it? Bad Ronald. Bad Ronald. They was showed on that.
And that was the one that was Scott Jacoby, and he had a twin who was in the attic or something.
No.
No, there was no twin, but he lived in a secret room in this house that his mother made for him, and then she died, and a new family moved in, but he was still in the secret
That's
room.
right. And then
He
he was
accidentally
like
killed
kind of.
somebody. That was so sad when she died too. I was like, because
Yeah.
you're right there with them, kind of.
Mhm.
And she was a little
Yeah.
bitch too. The one who was like, meow, 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 meow.
She deserved it.
and again, he just kind of pushed her. She hit her head. It wasn't his fault, but
It was like man one.
Mhm.
but he would have been out before.
Chris Fickenik says he's Ukrainian. I'm actually Ukrainian too. That's primarily what I am on my mom's side, although I do have some Balkan. I guess it's like Bulgarian or something, but it's mostly Ukrainian. Oh, that's
You ever been? You ever been to Ukraine?
No. I'm not going to Eastern Europe. Jesus.
Yeah.
No, I
Oh, come on.
well, I'm certainly not going to Ukraine now, and
that's up to you.
No, and like I don't know. I mean, not to be like a dick or anything, but like fuck Russia, fuck Ukraine. Like I'm just like no, Eastern Europe does not interest me. The Balkans, maybe. Like I might go down to like Greece or Bulgaria or like former Yugoslavia. Like I'd love to see like Montenegro, Macedonia, like all that stuff. It's as long as there's not a war in Bosnia or whatever. But it's like,
Wiping out anybody.
huh?
As long as they're not wiping out anybody.
Yeah. But no, not interested.
Vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, this went dark.
Sorry. Abort.
Well, let's talk about the house from the little girl who lives there.
Come on, get on it.
I want to talk about Jodiewig.
Jodiewig. So she only had one wig.
Well, do you count the one that her sister wore during the nude scene?
I mean, was that not the same wig?
She just put that on her head. That was the same.
It was not the same wig.
Sure?
It had. I am positive because Jodie's hair was like like she ironed it, but when the sister, the nude double, gets in bed, her hair is like curled at the ends. It's like kind
such an unnecessary scene too. Like
she does have
yeah.
kind of like a bewitched little flip at the bottom. Yeah.
How was that PG?
I know.
Well,
that was the limit.
You know, honestly, it makes a lot of sense though, because in the 70s, to be R-rated, you had to have a lot of nudity, you had to have a lot of violence. Like something like Taxi Driver was R-rated because there were gunfights and there was like ethnic slurs and there was like tons of just like profane talk. And then there's a movie where, like Jaws, where there's like a rubber arm that bounces to the bottom of the ocean, or something like The Little Girl Lives on Lane, where it's like some, girl gets into bed naked from the back and somebody says Mary fucking Poppins. Like, of course that's going to be PG at the time, because R-rated meant, Midnight Cowboy or Taxi Driver or Hanny Calder, or I don't know, something else that was like really violent and R-rated. Like this, it was pretty tame. Kids in the 70s didn't used to be like kids now. Like kids now, if you like,
right?
If you say hello to them and make eye contact, they'll like go to the, their ombudsman and say that you tried to, pull one over on the. I mean, it's like, people were a lot hardier.
Martin Sheeny.
Yeah, she was like the ultimate latch kid, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't even anyone there.
No,
she was living there all by
keys.
herself.
Yeah. No, she was the latchkey kid she gave herself the keys. But yeah, that was
really weird to consider that she lived this solitary life at that young age. It reminded me of that case of Natalia. I forget her last name. It's all in the news right now.
The Ukrainian chick who they think might have been an adult midget who.
Well, that's what her adoptive mother thought.
Yeah.
She became convinced that she was a 22-year-old woman when really she was a 9-year-old girl.
What is this story you're talking about?
Oh, it's all in the news right now. I forget her last name.
Her name is it's something Ukrainian. It's like Natalia Tominka or something, and it's like she's.
What is that
anyway, so it's like she had some family that adopted her, and then they tried to. They like abandoned her in a house and ran away to Canada because their son got a scholarship at some Canadian music conservatory or whatever. And when people said, "Hey, how could you just abandon that Ukrainian girl that you adopted?" They were like, "Oh, she's actually like an adult. She's like 22, and like she's been pretending to be a child."
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like Natalia says that this woman abused her, and the husband also says that the wife abused her.
Yeah.
At the time, but the husband is like sort of negating his involvement in it, like as if he was not part of it. He was just like this helpless bystander. So it's all very weird. It's like the Lion King.
What?
Well, because not the Lion King, the Tiger King. The Tiger King.
Like the Lion King.
What was that show? Joe. I don't even fucking remember his name now. But the guy that had the tigers, and they did a series on him, and it turned out that everything that this documentary tried to make you believe, it ended up really not being the truth.
Yeah.
So you don't know what to think.
Have you seen American Nightmare yet?
No,
I don't know.
It's on. It's just like this brand new documentary on Netflix. That's pretty. It moves along. It's like 3 episodes, and each episode is like kind of its own.
What's it about?
It's about this couple, and it opens up where this guy wakes up and he calls the cops, and he's like, "My girlfriend's been kidnapped. Somebody came in the middle of the night and kidnapped my girlfriend," and then it's like the whole episode is him talking to the cops, and the cops are like, yeah. And did you argue with your girlfriend? And and he doesn't know it. And he's just digging a deeper hole because he's like, I just want to find my girlfriend. He's just digging a deep hole for himself. And then each episode kind of ends with like a cliffhanger, and it's like the turn of a dial. And by the last episode, you're like, what? It's like really terrifying.
Oh,
I don't want to give it away, but it was
sounds good.
And I just tried to make somebody watch it, and they were like, "This is boring as shit. It's so slow." So
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. Some of the true crime stuff is good, and sometimes it can be kind of, like I like the
milk it. They probably could have told it all in an hour, but I like how they can.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. Not even an hour. Like anything on the ID network, they take a 10-minute story and stretch it out to an hour.
Totally did. And I love a reenactment. None of that, but
yeah. It's really in bad taste, I think. Some of those stories are really tragic and they're real. And they have the actual people there, but then these real people have to look at people playing them. And
Yeah.
them.
Did you ever see that show, The 101 Ways to Die or something like that? It was like a TV show. It was like, and they would cover like this person died because they had this weird disease where they kept having swallowing pennies.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
And they were it was complete reenactments of like ridiculous deaths. And I'm like, ooh, that's tough.
It does seem a little tough to like get people. Sometimes it's weird when you'll see the original people like participating in the reenactment, and I'm like, oh, really? You're cool to just like reenact you calling 911 because your husband like hung himself or something, and sure, it's an actor playing your husband, but then you're going to be like, this is what, it's like when Patty Duke starred in that TV movie where she played herself having bipolar episodes and like beating up the Christmas tree. And I'm like, really? How do you and like Mackenzie Aston and everybody in your family feel about you just like making a movie where you play yourself like trashing the Christmas tree because you're having like a bipolar episode?
And the people that had to deal with that have to watch it.
She ruined Christmas, and now she's making money.
And it's like, well, I know how Mackenzie Aston is doing. He was forced to go and be in the Evening Star, which is a terrible movie.
That was the sequel.
Yeah, it was not good at all, and it probably suffered. It probably could have just been a standalone movie, but they were like, it's a sequel to Terms of Endearment. It's like, no, it's not. No.
Hey, you guys want to look at some ads?
Yeah,
we do.
There's some cool shit I've been running on the page. These are like I'm doing a series. I'm up to the 64 at this point, from Phoenix and Tucson. So these are from the Arizona area. But look at this weird. This is, of course, you can tell what movies these are. The titles are written in smaller print. This Island Earth and Man of a Thousand Faces, but being marketed with these gory titles.
Bloodlust, Spears.
The Chamber of Horrors, the biography of Lon Chaney. The Chamber of Horrors. I mean, what the fuck?
It's almost as if they had developed these sort of like bylines that were going to be, it's like, it's not that Bloodlust in Outer Space is supposed to be the title. It's the tagline of the movie, but they blow it up to look like it's like the title of the movie.
But I mean, I would race to go see that if I was a kid.
Faith Demare? Oh, hell yeah.
Totally fall for that.
I never miss a Faith Demare gay movie.
Right.
Here's something beautiful.
I love it.
Wow. Party Beach and Curse of the Living Corpse.
Is the Curse of
the
Living...
You guys dig that one?
Curse of the Living Corpse is the one with Homegirl from the Carnival of Souls, right?
Candace Hilligoss, yes.
Candace Hilligoss was married to an actor once. I don't know if you knew that.
She was. She had a book about it.
And it's called I Was Married to an Actor, the Candace Hilligoss story.
The Curse of the Living Corpse also stars Roy Scheider.
First movie.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear the story about the monkey?
No.
Yes, but you should tell it.
Yeah.
He was friends with Candace. What's her name? And she offered him to stay at his apartment. She offered him, Roy Schreider, could stay in her apartment. And he stayed there for a couple of months. And he brought in a monkey somehow and just trashed the whole friggin' place. And they never really got along after that.
Oh, yes. I do know that story. That's so funny.
I just showed the horror at Party Beach kind of recently, and that was I was kind of like, oh, these people gonna like it, I was like, am I reaching to get it? And they loved it, and it was really fun.
It's a fun movie. I like horror.
But it's not actually a monster, right? It's like a person in a costume in the movie.
The horror Party Beach is a monster movie. I would say
it is a monster. Okay, because there's like one of those monster movies where it's actually.
You're thinking of Creature from the Haunted Sea, I think.
Okay.
One of those.
Is Horror from Party Beach the one where the monster has all these hot dogs in his mouth?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
With Tina. Nobody stops Tina. She's in
Tina
the beginning.
Louise?
No, she's just this girl named Tina in the beginning
Oh,
that she's
never
kind of a
mind.
little bratty and she gets it. But she's fun. She's fun while she lasts. It's a doll. What's this?
This is a Dutch film. It's kind of got the plot of Mannequin.
Do they have a Starship song on the soundtrack?
Nothing's gonna stop them now.
Yeah.
This is a Dutch movie from '62, I believe, is when this came.
Never
out.
heard about this one. Have you seen it?
The doll. No, there's a subtitled version on YouTube. I do want to go watch it. I kind of put it on the back burner. I started collecting ads for this movie every time I would see them because of that weird striking image. The bald lady, although she's a mannequin. But like there's another one that really has her face all distorted. It's super creepy. And I started collecting it. So I just became curious about what it was, and I still haven't watched it yet.
Plus the interview.
Swedish, maybe it is in Dutch. I don't know.
It's from the director of One Summer of Happiness.
Huh?
Swedish, Dutch, I don't know.
Swedish is different than Dutch.
It's very different. Look at these.
Wow.
And the Incredible Shrinking Man and Tarantula.
It's a lot of spider. I live in
I love how they transfer. Isn't that a cat that's menacing him in the original ad, and they painted a spider over it
Yeah.
with a tongue sticking out?
Yeah.
There is a spider scene in it that's pretty famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the book, the short story? It's like they really stretch it out. It's like the whole almost. They keep going back to it.
The spider?
Yeah, it's like it kind of starts off with the spider, and he's kind of duck, and he kind of goes back in time, like thinking of what he's doing. But it's him versus the spider, like pretty much the whole story.
I only know. I mean, is it anything like the Incredible Shrinking Woman? Like,
I think it was kind of a takeoff on it.
Like, right, but I mean, does like Concepcion work for him?
No.
Yes, she does. And at the beginning of the story, she's very plain, and like
right.
Suddenly, when he becomes famous, she turns all.
She turns into this like spandex clad slut who like won't clean and dumping food down the drain. And, yeah.
I look at the new tagline. I lived in a strange, weird house of horrors. The Incredible Shrinking Man, because that's what that movie is about.
Now, is that the spider talking, or is that the Incredible Shrinking Man talking? Because, like, I'd love the idea that the monster is attacking him, and the monster's reason is, "I lived in a strange, weird house of horrors."
Yeah, it's self-defense,
and that's like the monster's statement.
He's like, this predator normally is big enough to stomp on me and squash me. And here's one that's my size that I can deal with.
Taking this bitch down.
Mm-hmm. Same thing with tarantula. Look at that. Beware the flesh-eating creature.
And it's only one creature.
Yeah. That's totally overselling it.
I like tarantula. I thought that tarantula worked. Like, I thought that the special effects of the tarantula crawling in the background and looking giant were, adequate.
Well, it's no Earth versus the Spider.
Do you like Earth versus the Spider more?
I do. It doesn't have as good special effects, but the story is more interesting.
Is it scary?
Yeah. No,
not at all.
It's kind of like I remember Earth versus the Spider as being sort of kind of reminded me of like with the fact that the spider attacks the gym where the kids are having a dance reminded me of the Incredible Crawling Terror or whatever it's called.
The Creeping Terror.
Creeping Terror, yes.
Weren't they like partying? Was it like the giant spider like in the gym with them? It's like Dead upside down. No.
Wasn't it
They
the
kill it with rock and roll.
But wasn't it that the science teacher dragged the frozen spider into the school and then like it thawed out during the prom and attacked everybody or something?
I think that is how. Well, first they discover it in a cave,
Right.
then they knock it out and it's frozen or something, and they take it in the gym, and that's where it comes back to life. I used to have a Super 8 reel of it. I think I still do.
Oh, wow.
Somewhere. It's probably all pink.
Were you the one that didn't believe that the Super 8 of Tintorera existed, or was that somebody else?
I didn't say I didn't believe it.
Okay, because there was somebody who, like, from the chat who was like, I don't believe in that Tintorera 8mm, and I sent them the link, and they're like, I think that you made this with Photoshop, and I'm like, I'm not.
Oh my god, that was not me.
Okay, no, it was somebody else. But I thought it was funny that they would think that I would go to all these great lengths to perpetuate the myth that Tintorera had been released on Super 8. Like, I would let it go at some point, and just be like, okay, you're right. I'm kidding.
Why would you lie about that?
Well, it's funny that the idea that I would lie, and then also the idea that I would like make like mock-ups. It's like, it's just Tintorera on Super 8. I think we're good with like just saying it didn't exist. But
people are strange.
When you're a stranger.
Driving. What's next?
Faces come out of the rain. Oh yeah, I've been looking at this too long because I've been pulling up other stuff.
Okay.
Here's just some random stuff I pulled out of the gallery.
Ooh, that's a top one.
What's Beyond the Living Dead?
Beyond the Living Dead is Vengeance of the Zombies.
Oh.
It's one of the many reissues of Vengeance of the Zombies. I think they... Go ahead.
Vengeance of the Zombies just came out like so many times.
Yeah, it was called Walk of the Dead eventually. Like they put it out with a new marketing campaign that made it look like a Romero zombie movie. Now, it's a voodoo zombie movie.
Okay. So I might be confused. So Vengeance of the Zombies is not the movie that we watched where somebody is like typing on a typewriter something, and they see on the ribbon that like you can call the dead back to life by like reading back that. Okay.
No, that was Zedder.
Okay.
Revenge of the Dead.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Vengeance of the Zombies is a Spanish film starring Paul Naschy, directed by Leon Klimovsky.
Love him.
Is that the one that has the VHS with the zombie jumping out of the like grating over a sewer?
That's Zedder. That's Revenge of the Dead.
Okay, see, I'm sorry. I'm just I refuse to relinquish Zedder. I'm like, tell me how your movie is Zedder.
It's easy to get them mixed up.
Okay.
Those Living Dead mistitled zombie movies.
Right.
Ah, baby.
This is a beautiful thing.
It really is.
Sponsored by weed.
Really?
That's what it says.
I remember this when it was in the theaters. My sister saw it and she was just ruined. She went screaming
How
out.
so?
Huh?
How so? What did she say? Do you remember?
Went to it, like the first scene, like when they started eating people. When the guy took a bite out of the woman's neck, she got up and she went screaming out of the theater. And she
never went back.
And when she kept trying to peek in the little window in the door, and they were just showing horrible things, so she never really recovered. It's like, that's funny. She ended up with this as a brother.
Well, this was supposed to be the scariest movie ever made when I was a kid in school and too young to see it, because everybody's older brother and sister seemed to have gone to see Dawn of the Dead, and there was that kid that heard it from their older sibling, right. And then they, like, at lunchtime out on the playground, like, they could have a small audience just recounting the plot of the movie to their friends. And I heard a lot of crazy things like that way. Someone always insisted there was a scene in Halloween where there were girls laying on a beach and Michael Myers cut their heads off with a butcher knife. How stupid. The beaches of Haddonfield, Illinois.
Mike McPadden used to tell a story about how when he was a kid, there were kids in his school that would say that they had seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but the way that they would recount it was that they said that they went to a screening and there was all these lumberjacks with chainsaws, and the movie was about lumberjacks with chainsaws killing each other, and that there was this disembodied head on a wire that would go around the theater and like throw up on people like while they
Wow.
were watching the movie. And this is obviously some kid's idea of like how cool like Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be if they were watching. And but then that also just makes me think like, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but it would be so cool to watch it with like a disembodied head throwing up on people like in the audience while you're watching it.
Can you make that happen at the Flying Fox, Uncle
I
Smokey?
sure. Get the haggis.
I think it would help your act. I really do.
Needs a little perking. So maybe. Right. What year are these movies? Honor Blackman, huh?
This one's from 72, I think, but it may have been a reissue.
It's PG
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Cameo.
Susan George, the original Babysitter in Peril film, Fright.
Ooh.
Have you guys watched this? I've watched this. It's more of a
Yeah.
it's more of like it kind of reminds me more of Assault. You remember that movie Assault / In the Devil's Garden kind of thing?
Poor Susie Kendall.
Yeah, it's definitely more in that league than it is in anything remotely resembling Halloween or When a Stranger Calls or something like that. But yeah, it's a babysitter in danger film, definitely for sure.
Well, and I forgot to mention that David Emge just passed from Dawn of the Dead, Flyboy.
He's like one of my most disturbing zombies ever.
Yeah. Oh, that was heartbreaking when those doors opened and he was a zombie.
Looks terrible.
He'll be all right, won't he? He's not going to die.
He'll bounce back.
Squirm, scream, run.
And the Food of the Gods.
Yeah.
The cameo.
Squirm was an AIP movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah.
That's on the wall in Blowout too.
Oh, really?
Poster for Squirm, yeah.
Oh.
The Boogeyman, I think, is another one. All the good stuff was on the wall in Blowout. God, I love that scene.
I love Blowout, and of course, it's gonna be like one of De Palma's floppiest flops. It's like anytime anybody makes him like. All my favorite Ron Howard movies are the ones that he connected the least with audiences. And so, if you want to ask me if your movie's going to be a hit, like ask me what I like about it, and then do the opposite.
What do you guys think about Food of the Gods?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Me neither.
Oh, really?
And I have a copy of it, but I've never.
I do remember reading about it and seeing stills from it where giant rats like jump on people and eat their necks or whatever, but I don't think I've ever seen the movie itself. There was a clip from it, I believe, in Terror in the Isles where somebody is lashing out with a butcher knife at a giant rat, and then the rat is clearly like blue screened into the
Yeah.
Is that the one with the big giant like rooster?
Yes. Versus Marjo Gortner.
Marjo Gortner. Oh my God.
Love Marjo. I think it was just his birthday last week. Speaking of birthdays.
Oh, he would totally be a Sagittarius. I believe you.
But yeah, it's got great people in it. That's what I love about Food of the Gods. Belinda Belasky's in it. Gotta love her. Ida Lupino versus some giant worms in her kitchen. It's got good stuff in it, but it's not a great special effects tour de force, and that's all I'm going to say. Squirm, on the other hand, is gold. Squirm is just I think that is one of the best achievements in special effects for such a low budget film that I could even think of. The Deadly Spawn too. they also did amazing things with no money in The Deadly Spawn. But Squirm has got to be one of the greatest. It's like
I think
a stunt that Jeff Lieberman pulled off, and it worked.
I think that Squirm probably actually works better than the Deadly Spawn.
Yeah.
If only because the monster in the Deadly Spawn is a fictitious monster. So however they tell you it should look, you just accept how it's going to look. But Squirm actually replicates like what you would, we've all seen what worms look like, right? So when it makes like fake worms and creates a house where like worms are just like pouring over each other to attack you up a staircase, like,
oh my god,
yeah, it's like it's probably better, I mean, in that regard.
That scene where they show the living room and it's just so full of worms, it looks like an ocean of worms. It's just really nightmarish.
Or it almost looks like, sometimes they focus on it, it kind of looks like when you put a bunch of solid stuff in a blender and you're blending it together and it's all just, it's kind of, there's like a little kind of whirlpool in the middle where it's like mushing together, and that's what it looks like when he looks out and there's like all these worms in the stairway, and it looks like the middle of a blender where you're making like a milkshake where you haven't
ew.
And that one bit where it looks like the worms are going into the guy's face.
Yeah,
so
amazing. Early Rick Baker.
Yeah,
I always felt bad for that guy though. I was kind of rooting for him.
Oh yeah, here's that ad from the Tempter that it has the picture from The Exorcist 2.
It's amazing. It's just amazing. Because what says demonic possession more than a woman sitting on her bed while a curtain blows in her window?
I do love the idea that he was working for Warner Brothers and came up with these ideas for the Exorcist 2 poster. And then they're like, well, we've rejected them. And he's like, well, fine. I'll take them over to Avco Embassy and they'll let me use them as the entire marketing strategy for this movie called The Tempter. And they're just like, well, yeah, okay, sure, go.
That is their right.
Yeah.
If they were rejected by the highbrow studio, take it to the lowbrow one.
Well, and exactly.
Tempter.
So the Tempter is just an exorcist, like it's like a European exorcist ripoff that was brought to America and like, put out. And this poster was used in the teaser trailer for The Exorcist 2. And the guy who conceived of the poster, when Warner Brothers was like, no, we don't like your ad art work, so we're going to let you go. And so then he went to Avco Embassy and they were importing this European movie. And he's like, okay, we'll do this. And so, yeah, but is The Tempter good, Bill? I don't think so.
Somebody likes it.
Lee loves it more than The Exorcist. I don't know. I don't like it that much. I've seen it a couple of times, and I just think it's really laughable. Although
is it like an Italian lady sitting at a dining room table?
Yes,
somebody played a scene from that somewhere recently.
Yeah, it's the one where she's like, "How many cocks have you had?" It's like she turns to her stepmother. Really, this young woman that her father is having this relationship with. She's like, "You used to be a whore."
Sounds like a good time.
I mean, it's so over the top and like it's silly, I think. But most of the stuff that I love is silly. I don't know why that silly stuff makes me cringe when I see it.
I like there's like a limit to just silly.
It's good. I mean, it's a beautiful looking film, and there's one thing that's just unforgettable. And all I'm going to say is it involves the back end of a goat.
Oh, God. But it's so very suggested. Like, what is so gross about it is how suggested it is. It doesn't actually show you anything.
It's all suggested, and but you do get to see Carla Gravina's tongue going like, and you're like, oh, what's she doing?
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh God, I always forget about that. I feel like I block it out every time I think of The Tempter.
What am I saying? Yeah, The Tempter is the best movie ever made.
It's okay. I just don't. I mean, it's a lot better than Demon Witch Child.
Oh yes, it's so much better than Demon Witch Child.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch Demon Witch Child over The Tempter again, though.
Yeah. I do
Have you
like
seen that one,
the
Uncle Spooky?
dialogue in it.
Demon Witch
No.
Child. That's a definite must see. That's the
Really?
guy who made the Blind Dead movies. He did
Ah, I
like the
love those.
Exorcist ripoff. Yeah,
It's what's it called? Let me write that down.
it's called The
Demon.
Possessed, but
Yeah.
I think the title it had in America was Demon Witch Child.
Demon Witch Child.
Demon.
And it's like if you ever see any clips online of like these really badly dubbed, like this little girl who's like, "Why don't you go fuck your boyfriend and leave me alone?" Or she's saying like, yeah, she's just always like messing with people and stuff. But
I have to go.
Yeah, I think we should just end it. What do you think?
I think so. I'm down.
Guys, you're a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Tuesdays, if you've got nothing to do, I got a little spookorama thing. We sit around, we watch a movie on Zoom. It's nice. You can look at people's faces. I was gonna maybe play Slugs. I've never seen it.
Oh my god, it's amazing. You're gonna love it.
It's on Tubi, right? I think.
Wait, you're
Tubi
showing
set.
Slugs?
I think I am. I do the same thing. I kind of wait till the last minute to figure it out.
I
But,
love
again-
Slugs.
I've never seen it, and you just put it was like there was a little bit of it in your opening that made me want to watch it.
Yeah, it was the slug going "Rah," and like biting. You know, it's actually based on a book or something. And then the guy who made Pieces was like he bought the rights to it.
Host is good. So if anybody out there, you see me on Instagram, I'll send you the invite. It's the super secret spookorama thing, you know. So you gotta be invited with an invitation. Listen,
It's even more secret than the Drive-In Asylum DM.
yeah, way. All right, what are you showing me here? What's this video?
Oh, we're
Is the
getting
end?
ready to sign off.
Oh, let's do it.
Mike Justice, it was so much fun watching The Trouble with Barry with you.
That
Oh my
was
God,
that was
so
really fun, actually. Thank you. That was almost better than my birthday. It was just kind of fun to just have like my little 11-year anniversary of that movie, and now I can just consign it to oblivion.
Oh, that would be my opening. That would be on my business card.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll still like name drop myself for making it, but I we'll try to do other stuff.
Make another one, man. You were really good. Make another one.
I want to do that rainy afternoon farmhouse regional like faux
Boom.
yeah, faux axe, faux
The old
don't look in the
house
basement
down the
kinda thing.
lane.
In
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, though. You're going to do it in Pittsburgh.
And where else could I do something like that? Like, of course, it would have to be in Pittsburgh. Like,
4-day shoot. Gorilla.
I could make it happen.
I definitely want more than 4 days, if only because the whole idea of making the movie would be so. It's like a vacation. Like, I'd want to be at least 2 weeks on the movie.
Well, if we can scout locations when you come to the Monsterama in April. How about that?
Monsterama.
Well, that's one of my things. Like, I'm not like telling everybody this because I'm not trying to jinx myself or anything. But like coming to the Monsterama is kind of a reconnaissance mission, where I'm just kind of when I'm not at the drive-in theater, I'm going to be poking around Pittsburgh, being like, "Can I live here?"
And I wonder what you'll decide. I'm guessing no, but I'm hoping that it's going to be yes. And for those of you who wanted to know, next week it's going to be Drive-In Asylum late movie 11 p.m. Mill of the Stone Women.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. And Sam will be back next weekend, so it will not be Samless. I hope you guys enjoy.
Oh my God! So here's a way you got to watch this movie. Like, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
So Mill of the Stone Woman. I'm gonna say. So there's like kind of there's like a woman in it that's very sort of aggressive sexually with this guy, and if you I don't know how, I feel like I'm gonna get canceled for this, but if you pretend she's got a penis, and this is why the guy's so upset that he slept with her. It takes this movie to a whole nother level.
Oh,
It
like
looks
the crying game or something.
yeah, it's totally like, to me, it totally reads like the crying game. Like this guy like totally got fooled and he's like all like freaked out about it.
I liked it better when you were a girl.
So try to look at that like through that lens.
Okay.
I'll remember that, and it's making me look forward to watching it even more.
Oh, you're gonna love it. You never seen it?
No, I haven't watched it yet, and I've
Ooh.
been kind of saving it for a special time. So this is the
This is it.
special time,
This is it.
and we're finally
Enjoy
gonna enjoy it. And we hope you'll come back next weekend, all of you, and watch Mill of the Stone Women with us 11 p.m. on Saturday. Till then, have a great week. Thanks to our special guests tonight, Mike Justice, Uncle Spooky, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Nice hanging.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.